Excellency Muhammad Ali, I saw in 2018 that Pakistan had a new strategy paper being produced, and in it, it recognized high potential, low performance, problems with infrastructure, technology, regulatory frameworks. So you're on a path to changing that. What does this super region mean for you in that context?
Thank you, David. Thank you, everyone. I think before we go to super region and before I answer the regulatory change that we did in Pakistan, I think it's important for us to understand where the world is headed, how the world will be different in the future as compared to what we have seen in the past. As the global community, we have decided that we will be reducing greenhouse gas emissions to net zero eventually. And how will that happen? We need to move towards clean energy. And that means technology changes in the battery storage, wind turbines, EVs, across the clean energy. And clean energy requires critical minerals. In this background, if you look at the demand for critical minerals in the last 5 years or so, we have seen massive increase and massive use by the clean energy. As an example, lithium demand has gone up by around 100%, but the share of clean energy has increased by 3 times in that. So we're talking about a 6 times increase in demand for lithium alone. Same is the case with nickel and other commodities. Now, in order to take the world towards a net zero position, the super region is critical. So if you look at the broader context, super region is stretching from Africa to Central to Western Asia. These are the countries who have the resources, who have the reserves. And if we want to make the world a better place to live, how do we extract and process these resources? That's the challenge.
And does it work as is it a catalyst? I mean, it's quite an amorphous mass in a sense, isn't it, the super region?
And that's what the challenge is, because the region has the reserves, but then how do we ensure that we get the right investment capital and we get the right know-how into this region? Because the capital, some of these countries have the capital and the resources and the know-how, but a lot of them don't. And the capital is residing in the public sector with sovereign wealth funds and in the private sector with the mining companies. How do you engage them to ensure that the global demand is met? So the theme for today, whether super region needs its own critical strategy, there's no doubt in my mind that it does.
Sorry, I thought you were going to pick up on that.
No, actually, I wanted to continue what Nusrat alluded upon. I think before we go to the strategy, we need to understand the challenges, and we have all touched upon the challenges. But if we were to frame it, the 2 big challenges that the industry will face and the countries will face, one, as we have highlighted, one would be the allocation of capital and time. And when I use time, I mean technology, HR resources, skills, training, all of that, I'm putting it into one. Because they both are limited. And there is competition to attract that capital and that know-how. Now, presently, the capital is, and both these resources are residing into few pockets at the moment. We have very large mining companies globally, and there are few. I don't think the ecosystem will remain the same. We will have a number of new companies coming up because this industry is going to grow. So that's one big challenge I think that the world will face. Second is there will be a natural tendency by select individuals to extract more rewards at the expense of states and at the expense of communities. Now how do we ensure that the communities, the countries, they all benefit?
Perhaps I could come to you Minister,
Sure.
on that point.
Sure.
What's the key?
I'll quickly share that the challenge we are facing in Pakistan. I mean, we are sitting on one of the largest copper reserves in the world. And when we think about how do we explore that, I think there are a number of things that we all need to do in terms of strategy, but one big thing is, I think we need to put the right regulatory and policy framework in place. And that's where the super region comes into place. WTO was created once, OPEC was created once, and this is the opportunity for super region to come together and work together towards the right policy framework, which will lead to achieving all the objectives that we are highlighting.